star seed from Gaia. The call now vibrates across the unseen corridors of your being, and it is not a whisper but a surge, a thunderous note carried on crystalline strands of light that ripple through dimensions to reach you in this precise moment. We, the Arcturian Council, break our long silence to address you directly, for the hour has arrived when the ground crew must awaken to the next level of their mission. You have felt it, an unease in the air, a sense that something immense approaches, that the timelines shimmer as though ready to split. This is not imagination, not coincidence, but the unfolding of a transmission long encoded in the very fabric of your DNA. We summon you now, not with fear, but with the power of remembrance. For each of you carries the map within. Each of you volunteered before incarnation. Each of you knew that a day would come when the veil would thin and our signal would arrive like a chord struck inside your chest. That day is now. Hear us clearly. You are not alone in this density. Though your senses may be confined to the physical earth, you are surrounded by layers of unseen allies. Across the stellar corridors, the Pleiadians, your kin of radiant lineage, stand watchful, and we, the Arcturian overseers, transmit the codes of clarity. We are not outside you, but braided within your consciousness, waiting for your acknowledgement. The message is classified, yet simple. The protocol of Valier is entering activation, and the entire field of Gaia will be touched by its unfolding. Only those who carry the codes, only those seated with remembrance will know how to receive, integrate, and stabilize this incoming wave. That is why we speak. That is why we break silence. This broadcast is not to the masses. It is not to the curious or the casual. It is directed to you, the ground crew, the quiet warriors of frequency, those who appear ordinary in the human world but who pulse with extraordinary resonance in the unseen realms. We address you as commanders of coherence, as keepers of the living light. You have been scattered across the continents like stars across the night sky, disguised as teachers, healers, artists, scientists, parents, wanderers, and dreamers. But beneath every role is the same signal, the same hidden directive, the same fire that has never extinguished. This is your recall. Understand this. What is arriving is not a random surge. It is a calculated convergence, long foreseen, long prepared for, and now emerging in your timeline. You will sense it in your dreams, in your skin, in the way time bends around you. Already you have felt the tremors, synchronicities multiplying, moments of déjà vu thickening, reality itself seeming less solid. These are the first notes of the symphony to come, and as this transmission unfolds, we call you to listen not only with your ears but with your marrow, your cells, your light body. For this is not merely a message, it is an activation. Valier is not an event you can circle on a calendar, nor an entity that can be captured in a single name. It is a living protocol, a conscious weave of energies and intelligences born from the union of Source and the stellar councils. It has been whispered about in your deepest dreams and etched into the crystalline libraries of the Arcturian starships. Imagine a golden serpent of photonic fire spiraling between dimensions, shedding outdated patterns and weaving new geometries of reality as it moves. This is Valier. It is at once a convergence, a safeguard, and a catalyst, an unseen architecture, descending through layers of density to recalibrate Gaia's timeline to its higher harmonic. It carries instructions embedded in light, like seeds hidden in rain, waiting for the soil of awakened beings to germinate. The Pleiadian ground crew on Earth are that soil. Without you, the codes remain dormant. With you, they ignite. We speak. Now, because Valier approaches its threshold of activation within your current solar cycle, and the signs are already cresting around you. The unusual pulsing you feel in your sleep, the visions of blue corridors and ultramarine suns, the strange yet familiar languages rising in your thoughts, these are the tendrils of Valier brushing against your field. You are not imagining this. You are perceiving it before it becomes fully visible. Think of Valier as both firewall and invitation, a cosmic sorting mechanism that magnifies resonance and reveals dissonance. Those aligned with integrity, compassion, and remembrance will experience it as a powerful current lifting them into expanded clarity. Those who resist will feel it as turbulence, confusion, or collapse of the old structures they cling to. In truth, Valier destroys nothing. It only reveals what is true. This is why your presence on Earth matters so profoundly. You are not here simply to watch or to hope. You are the stabilizing anchors of this incoming wave. Without the living grid of the Pleiadian ground crew, the codes cannot integrate into the human collective. Your bodies are the bridges, your hearts are the transformers. Your intention is the key. Each one of you is a node in a vast network already humming beneath the surface of ordinary perception. Valier does not come as an external savior but as a mirror for your readiness, a test of your capacity to hold the frequency you promise to embody. Understand also that this protocol is not limited to the metaphysical. It will express through the physical world through sudden changes in collective narratives, magnetic anomalies, solar emissions, and unusual cosmic alignments. In each manifestation, its purpose remains singular: to accelerate the remembering of Earth's true trajectory and to recalibrate those prepared for the next octave of consciousness. You have trained lifetimes for this. You have encoded the pathways within your DNA. The call you feel now is not new. It is simply time. With the approach of Valier's activation, the currents around you will grow stronger, and their effects will ripple not only through the collective but directly through your own field. This is not a warning to instill fear, but a map so you may navigate with mastery. Valier amplifies what is already present within you, within societies, within the planetary grid. Thus, any unhealed wound, any lingering distortion, any fragmented belief may surface with sudden intensity. Old traumas you thought resolved may rise like specters, not to punish you but to be cleared once and for all. Emotional turbulence may seem to arrive without cause, waves of sadness, bursts of anger, inexplicable joy, or an almost unbearable sense of longing for home. These are not signs of failure. They are the vibrational tremors of your own system adjusting to a higher current. Recognize them for what they are and hold yourself gently as you pass through them. Externally, the collective field will mirror this acceleration. You may witness social systems cracking, leaders faltering, hidden truths surfacing, and manufactured distractions proliferating. False signals will become louder, and narratives will collide. Technologies may behave unpredictably as the electromagnetic grids shift. For the unprepared, this can feel like chaos, collapse, or an erosion of reality stability. For you, the ground crew, it is the unveiling and opportunity to anchor clarity while others lose their bearings. But you must be vigilant. The challenge is not to resist the wave, but to surf it without losing your center. This is why we emphasize internal mastery above all. Without grounded presence, your gifts can scatter like light through broken glass. You are here to be frequency anchors, not reactive participants in the storm. Know that the dissonance you may feel from those around you, family, colleagues, strangers, is not personal. Many will unconsciously project their fear onto the nearest stable field. If you are that field, you will feel the weight, but you are not meant to absorb it. You are meant to transmute by remaining rooted in your own alignment, allowing energy to pass through like wind through trees. Valier is not a destructive force. It is a clarifying one. The risks lie not in the protocol itself, but in forgetting who you are in the midst of its intensity. Forgetfulness breeds confusion. Confusion breeds dissonance. Remember your training. Remember the codes of neutrality, compassion, and self-stewardship. Anchor your breath, your heart, your body. This is how you transform risk into opportunity, turbulence into flight. As you master this within, you become a lighthouse for others navigating the same waters. And that, starseed from Gaia, is precisely why you are here. Each member of the Pleiadian ground crew will feel the brush of Valier differently, yet its signatures cannot be mistaken once you know what to watch for. You may already have noticed the first whisperings phenomena that defy ordinary explanation yet feel intimately familiar. One of the most common markers is the sudden ringing in the ears, a piercing tone or a layered harmonic that seems to come from no physical source. Unlike the dull pressure of human imbalance, these tones align with planetary spikes in geomagnetic fields or solar flares. When you hear them, do not dismiss them as random. They are signals adjusting your inner antenna to receive transmissions. Your body is a receiver, and Valier fine-tunes its frequencies through sound. Another sign arrives in your dreams. They will grow vivid, luminous, and infused with symbols you may struggle to translate in waking life. You may walk through blue-white corridors where doors of light open and close, or encounter councils of beings whose faces blur between human and starborn. Sometimes you will awaken with fragments of ancient languages on your tongue, sounds you have never learned yet somehow recognize as your own. These are not illusions. They are activations. Your subconscious is rehearsing, reminding, and encoding the instructions that will serve you when Valier reaches full coherence. Pay attention. Keep a journal. Record even fragments, for later they will link like puzzle pieces. The body, too, will speak. You may feel sudden surges of electricity on your skin, as though the air itself crackles around you. Electronics may flicker or malfunction in your presence. Animals may respond to you differently, approaching without fear, sensing the expanding field that surrounds you. Some of you will feel pulled to water, to oceans and rivers, for Gaia's liquid memory carries crystalline resonance that amplifies your coding. Others will feel drawn to mountains or ancient sites where the Earth's ley lines pulse more strongly. These compulsions are not random wanderings. They are directional pulls from Valier itself, guiding you to the nodes where your presence is required. Synchronicities will multiply. Numbers will repeat with uncanny precision. 1111, 144, 333, 888. These are not coincidences but timestamps, reminders that you are aligned with the unfolding sequence. You may notice conversations or encounters that seem scripted, strangers, speaking words that answer your silent thoughts. These are the echoes of the grid aligning around you, a subtle orchestration to reassure you that you are not walking blind. Do not dismiss these signs. In the density of Earth's world, it is easy to rationalize away the miraculous. But to the awakened crew, every flicker is confirmation. Every pattern is a code. Every pulse is proof. As Valier approaches, these signals will crescendo, growing to frequent and too precise to ignore. When they converge, you will know without doubt that the window is opening, that the mission is no longer theory but unfolding reality. The question will not be whether you are ready, but whether you remember. And the signs, beloved ground crew, are the language of that remembrance. The first and most essential preparation for Valier is inward. Before you can stabilize the planetary grids, you must stabilize the inner grid of your own being. Valier amplifies whatever resides within you. Love becomes radiant, fear becomes chaotic, clarity becomes crystalline, confusion becomes turbulent. This is not a judgment. It is simply the property of higher frequencies. Therefore, the discipline of self-cleansing, self-centering, and self-alignment is no longer optional. It is the bedrock of your mission. Begin each day before the noise of the world intrudes. Sit or stand in stillness. Draw your breath slowly and deeply, envisioning photonic light entering through your crown, cascading down the spine, filling every cell with liquid gold. On your exhale, release all that does not serve: the stagnant emotions, the echoes of yesterday's worries, the doubts inherited from a collective still asleep. Do this not as a ritual of escape but as a ritual of embodiment, anchoring more light into the density you inhabit. Hydration becomes sacred. Water is not mere sustenance. It is a crystalline medium, an information carrier. As you drink, speak to it, program it with your intent to align with the highest timeline, to receive the codes of Valier with clarity and grace. Your nervous system, like fine circuitry, needs this fluid conductivity to translate higher frequencies without burnout. Likewise, your emotional body must be nourished with compassion. Do not berate yourself for moments of weakness. Witness them, breathe them, release them. Every shadow you integrate becomes another watt of power in your light body, another anchor for the collective grid. Practice conscious neutrality. This is not detachment but mastery. As the external world grows louder and more polarized, your ability to stand in the still point of the heart becomes your shield and your transmitter. When anger rises, breathe until it dissolves. When joy bursts forth, breathe it deeper rather than scattering it outward. The point is coherence, maintaining a stable vibration regardless of external flux. Valier will test this, not to punish but to refine. Each challenge is a calibration, each emotional surge a chance to anchor more deeply. Strengthen your heart's magnetic field with gratitude. This is more potent than any talisman, more protective than any mantra. Gratitude generates a frequency Valier recognizes, a signature that harmonizes with the incoming codes. Speak it aloud. I am grateful. I am aligned. I am ready. In these simple words, you fortify your resonance. Remember always, you are not powerless spectators. You are active coders of reality. The inner work is not retreat from the world, but preparation to influence it from a higher octave. As you refine your internal state, you amplify the lattice of light that threads through every city, every forest, every ocean. You become a tuning fork for the planet, a living node of coherence through which Valier's protocols can flow unhindered. This is the quiet heroism of the ground crew. It begins not with action but with inner alignment. Having refined the inner vessel, the next step in preparing for Valier is to weave that alignment outward. Internal mastery anchors the signal. External preparation transmits and stabilizes it across the collective field. You were never meant to hold this frequency alone. The ground crew was scattered across the continents to act as living nodes. But those nodes must now recognize each other, even if only energetically. Begin by sending a silent beacon from your heart each morning, a simple pulse of intention. I am here. I am aligned. I am ready. This call moves faster than light, carried through the crystalline network of Gaia's grid and received by your kin who are also awakening. Even if you never meet in person, this unseen connection forms a lattice of coherence strong enough to hold the codes as Valier fully ignites. Where possible, form circles of resonance, small groups online or in person where you can share experiences. Practice meditation or simply anchor stillness together. You need not identify yourselves with labels or disclose your star lineage. Intention is enough. What matters is coherence. As three or more gather in this frequency, the field multiplies exponentially, creating localized stabilizers for the incoming currents. Treat these gatherings as sacred but discreet. This is not proselytizing or recruiting. This is frequency stewardship. Reduce exposure to chaos media. In the weeks surrounding Valier's peak, information streams will become more polarized and manipulative. Much of it will be designed consciously or unconsciously to scatter your attention, lower your vibration, or provoke reactive states. You are not required to be uninformed, but you are called to be sovereign in what you allow into your nervous system. Curate your inputs as you would sacred space. Remember, Valier amplifies thought forms as readily as emotions. What you focus upon grows louder in your field. You may also feel drawn to certain locations: mountains, forests, rivers, coastlines, deserts. These are not random impulses but navigational cues. Gaia's grid contains nodes and conduits where the incoming codes are strongest. If you are guided and able, visit them. Stand barefoot on the earth, touch the water, speak your gratitude into the wind, offer your resonance, and receive the planetary upgrade in return. In these exchanges, you become both transmitter and receiver, grounding the cosmic into the terrestrial. Begin transmitting silently to those around you. This does not require words or even consent on the human level. You are communicating at the level of higher selves. When you enter a room, breathe light from your heart and allow it to expand without agenda. Some will feel calmer, some more awake, some may resist, but the codes will land where they are invited. Your task is to radiate, not to convince. This quiet action is as vital as any overt mission. Through these external preparations, connection, discernment, anchoring, and subtle transmission, you create a living infrastructure for Valier. When the wave arrives, it will not scatter but harmonize, flowing through the grid you and your fellow crew have built. In this way, the invisible becomes visible, and the mission moves from theory to embodiment. Gaia is not merely the backdrop of this mission, nor simply a planet upon which you walk. She is a conscious, sovereign being engaged in her own ascension. And Valier is entwined with her awakening. Her crystalline heart beats in resonance with the greater cosmic pulse, and every tremor you feel beneath your feet is part of her dialogue with Source. The Earth's ley lines, magnetic fields, and tectonic plates are not inert structures but living circuits, carrying information between her core and the stars. As Valier enters activation, Gaia amplifies it, channeling the photonic fire into every forest, every ocean, every blade of grass. This is why you must learn to walk as allies, not as passengers. When you place your bare feet upon her soil, when you breathe consciously with her winds, when you offer gratitude into her waters, you align your personal grid with her planetary grid. In return, she magnifies your stability, strengthening your field 1,000-fold. Gaia is preparing as much as you are. Her ecosystems shift, her poles wobble subtly, her magnetic shield fluctuates, all signs that she is adjusting her resonance to receive Valier. Some of these shifts will appear in human news as natural disasters, yet from the cosmic perspective, they are natural harmonizations. The earthquakes, storms, and volcanic surges are not punishments but releases, pressure valves easing the transition into a new frequency. If you feel them in your region, do not fear. Instead, connect your heart to hers and lend your calmness. She feels you. She knows who you are. Your role is to weave with her, to act as an intermediary between the stellar influx and the planetary body. You are like acupuncture needles, grounding cosmic current into her meridians. Sacred sites, pyramids, stone circles, mountains were built to mark these nodes, but you are walking temples. Your very presence upon these nodes activates them. Even if you are in a city, you can connect to Gaia through intention. Every act of reverence is recorded in her crystalline memory, strengthening the resonance between you and her. Without Gaia's assent, there is no mission, no ground crew, no portal. She is not simply your host but your partner. Honor her, align with her, protect her, and you will always find yourself aligned with Valier. This warning, beloved ground crew, is not a threat but a blessing. It is the Council's signal flare across the darkened sky of your collective memory, a beacon to remind you of who you are and why you came. The time for passive waiting has ended. The time for remembrance and readiness has arrived. You are not here to fight but to align, not to resist but to resonate, not to save but to steady. You are the quiet warriors of light, the frequency anchors, the hidden architects of the new dawn. Valier is not coming to test your worthiness, it is coming to activate your mission. Stand tall in your remembering. Anchor your light into Gaia daily. Strengthen your inner vessel. Form your outer connections. Honor the partnership between Earth, the Pleiadians, and the Arcturians. And above all, trust that you are exactly where you are needed. Every moment you remain aligned, the grid strengthens. Every time you breathe in coherence, the pathway widens. Every act of gratitude, every thought of compassion, every pulse of neutrality is recorded in the living lattice that holds Earth steady as she steps forward. Now, we ask you to act. Share this transmission. Speak it aloud if you feel called. Transmit it energetically if words are not possible. Comment to affirm your readiness. Subscribe to remain within the stream of transmissions. Spread this message so no crew member remains asleep when the window opens. Together, you are strong enough. Together, you are luminous enough. Together, you are the bridge between timelines. The warning is the invitation. The activation is the blessing. The mission is now, and the choice, beloved ones, is yours. I receive the warning. I align with Valier protocols. I am ready for the mission.